guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are in a slightly different location just because I wanted more of a chill video today. Hopefully y'all can't hear the ceiling fan. I turned on the ceiling fan because I had to turn off the AC. Every time I film, I have to turn off my AC because it's super loud. Yeah, so we have some Chipotle here. We have, it looks like a sad looking bowl because I realized I really didn't get much in it, but it's fine. I don't know why I said no to beans. Usually I say yes to beans. But it's just rice, steak, the salsa, cheese, sour cream. Yeah, and I got some queso and then also some guac and then some chips. And then I have some juice and the coldest water bottle cup. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this queso onto the bowl. And then I'm also gonna use it to dip my chips in. And then same with the guac too. I'm gonna put some of the guac in my bowl. And then the rest will be to dip my chips. So I might even just dip my chips into my bowl too. So whatever we feel like doing. So today's video is another Spooktober crime case, of course. I mean, why wouldn't it be? So today we are talking about the Jenkins case. So this is still a cold, unsolved case. This happened in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. I always have such a hard time saying that city. But he was a 21-year-old college student. It was Halloween night, 2002. So they had like this Halloween party. And after, he decides that him, his girlfriend, and a few of their friends are gonna go to a local bar. And it's called like the Lone Tree. I was gonna say Lone Star, but I don't know why something would be named Lone Star up north because Lone Star is Texas. Cruz is dressed up as a Native American Indian. Which would have been really ironic if I filmed this video yesterday, which I was supposed to, but yesterday time got a hold of me. Well, kind of. Yesterday I forgot that I had a dentist appointment. So I've been having to I've neglected my teeth over the years, like dentist wise. So I've had to go like every few weeks or so to get certain treatments done. I forgot I had one yesterday. So my mouth was numb for like half of the day. And then by the time the numbness wore off, I accidentally fell asleep and took a nap for 5 hours. So not too much was accomplished yesterday, so. And then I was recording a gameplay video that I'm working on, and I did it for like an hour until I realized that I wasn't filming or recording my gameplay for that whole hour. So it was upsetting. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. But yesterday was Columbus Day. So that's what I'm saying, it would have been interesting because really Columbus Day is for indigenous people, not for Columbus. So he was dressed up as a Native American Indian. So not that many clothes. His girlfriend was dressed up as a sexy cop. Her name is Ashley. So They're at the bar, everything's fine. Towards the end of the night, Chris somehow gets kicked out of the bar. And there's multiple stories as to what happened. But we'll get into that in a minute. We're first going to go through kind of like the facts of the case, I guess you could say. So around 12 o'clock, Chris is sent out of the bar, not allowed back in. In the freezing cold, it's 20 degrees outside. He basically has no clothes on. He doesn't have his phone, wallet, or keys or anything because he gave it to his girlfriend because he had no pockets, so she was holding all his belongings. And for some reason, she didn't follow him out when he got ejected. We'll get into that too, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just clingy, but it's very weird. So, he gets ejected. And the next day, the girlfriend goes to his place to give him his stuff back. She realizes he's not home and realizes that he actually never came home the night before. So his family is notified. They come down. They try to look for him. They try to file a police report, but I guess since he is an adult, they weren't allowed to like file a missing persons report. And then they told them, the parents, they said, oh, he's probably on a trip or something. Which, I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't go on a road trip without my phone, my wallet, my keys. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So finally, after 72 hours, they were finally able to file a missing persons report. They try to track down his last steps. So, they go to the bar. Cops try to question the bar. But the bar owner tells all the employees, you are not allowed to speak unless you have an attorney. Now, the case basically goes cold. The parents are upset. The cops really aren't doing much. They're just like, it probably was an accidental like drowning or a suicide, like, sorry. So, let's get into the theories and other things that happened that night. So, there's a few different stories. So one of the stories is that apparently a drink got spilt on Chris. And then the bouncer saw that the drink was spilled on, didn't see the drink spilled on him, but saw that he had like wet marks like on him. So then the bouncer assumed that Chris had peed himself. So then the bouncer ejected Chris from the bar. Now that one hasn't really been proven. And especially since pretty much the bouncers, I don't think they were questioned, or if they were, I don't think they really gave much information. Which is fishy because if you have nothing to hide, why are you not saying anything? Oh. So, another one is that, like I said earlier, the girlfriend Ashley, she actually also worked at the bar. I forgot to mention that. She worked at the bar that they went to, but she was off that night. Her costume of the sexy officer, right? One of the bar frequenters was an officer named Mike Casey, I believe. And he brought a uniform for her to wear, but she didn't have one. Which I find really weird because I don't know that many people that, you know, do that. It seems a little weird. Seems like they're a little bit too close. And apparently that night, Mike and Chris met for the first time and actually introduced them to each other. Apparently, it didn't seem like Mike was too happy about that she had a boyfriend, or that she like brought him there. And so apparently they're saying that Mike told a bouncer to get Chris ejected so that he could flirt with Ashley. And apparently after Chris was ejected from the bar, Mike kept on flirting with her the whole night and drove Ashley home. Even after, so also too, they had an employee meeting at the end of the night. So that means that this cop waited till after they closed and waited for them to have a meeting and waited on her to take her home. And he was like twice her age, like he was in his 40s and she was in her 20s. So, but I think Ashley was questioned, but I don't think nothing really came of value of it. But here's where it gets fishy. So, even though Mike was very heavily involved that night, he was never questioned by the cops. And the cops were asked why they never questioned him. The cops' response was, well, he is married with children. We did not want to break up a home. I don't care who you are. If it's part of an investigation that will help me get closer to finding answers of a loved one, I don't care about your personal life. That's your choice to go out to bars and be shady. It's not my problem. So, months later, I believe February of 2003, his body is found in the Mississippi River. The interesting thing though is, he doesn't have bruises or anything like that. No real injuries, and he did die of like some type of like suffocation. And they think that he was like suffocated with a bag because the way that his lung was deflated, it wasn't as if it was a drowning. But also, let me mention, this took years for them to finally come to this conclusion. So, at first when they found the body, they ruled it suicide. Or not suicide, accidental death. But the parents kept on fighting for answers, as they should. And a new police chief came into, I don't know, like swearing or whatever, business, whatever you call it. I don't know. And he looked at the case. And with this police chief, I think maybe he did have good intentions, but it does seem like it was mainly just like a ploy, just to be like, hey, like, I'm the new chief, look at all these great things I'm doing. So he actually reopens the case. A month later, he closes the case. So finally in 2006, a new police chief is put in again, and the family comes forward because they have by this time hired a PI, and the PI found some evidence, so they presented the evidence to the cops, and it was enough to where the police chief actually reopened the case and ruled it as a homicide or foul play suspected. And then a few months later, he actually issued a public apology to the family, which I thought was really nice because he wasn't even the one who like this case started way before his time. But he still took the time out of his day to like publicly apologize, like on behalf of like the whole police team, like to the family for like all the pain that they caused, you know, by ruling it accidental and then just like dragging it on for so many years. Now they also brought in dogs to sniff his scent around the time when he first initially went missing. And one of the times, the dogs took them down to a parking garage where the parking garage attendant said, oh, and those two spots that the dog is like hinting at, one of the bouncers that works at that bar parked there that night on Halloween night. And in the garage they found blood remnants, they found like a red string and like feathers and whatnot that were believed to be parts of his headpiece of his costume. Then again, I think this time the parents were the ones who hired these private like canine dogs. They ended up tracking his scent like 4 miles down the street, like kept on going 4 miles until they hit the interstate. And that's when they lost the scent. So it's believed that he either willingly got into a car or was forced into a car and taken somewhere. Because also another thing, his body was not where it was found the whole time. Like those whole few months of him missing, there's no way that it was there that whole time. Also too, both of his shoes were still on. His clothes were still in really great condition. He didn't have bruising or anything. And he was laying like this, with his fist clenched. And one of his fists was a fistful of his own hair, which is very strange. People got excited at first because they thought maybe that's like the hair of whoever killed him. But after DNA testing, they found out that it was in fact just his own hair. I think right now the case is technically closed, but I think it's one of those cases where if they were to find evidence, they would open it back up to reinvestigate, but for now I believe it remains closed. The mom even actually wrote a book about him, like about his life and whatnot. One of the stories is that he broke up a fight that happened in the bar, or was about to happen. And that maybe once he left, whoever he broke the fight up with that got mad about it, maybe they followed him out of the bar and then attacked him. Another one too, there was these two brothers, like the Alfred Brothers. They were arrested for like aggravated murder like a few years later in like 2005, but they were either in or they had connections to this gang that was like in that area of Minnesota that was responsible for killing about anywhere from like 20 to 30 people. And they claim that they had inside information about Chris Jenkins' murder. However, whenever they're questioned about that, they always say like, actually, like, I'd rather not discuss anything that I haven't been charged with or convicted of. So they refuse to talk about the Chris Jenkins case now. Another theory is that Chris Jenkins is part of the list of these smiley face murders, which apparently these have happened kind of all over the US, like mainly in New York, and then the northern, like, Midwest area. And apparently it's like they take, I believe indigenous people and then just like young men that look vulnerable or whatever. They kill them, and then the way that they mark it is they leave a smiley face graffiti mark. Now, people believe that Chris is part of that, but there's no smiley face graffiti mark anywhere. So I don't think he's connected to those, but he is on some of the list of possible murders connected to the smiley face murders. My battery's about to die, so I'm gonna real quickly say what I believe. So I believe that, oh, also too, they found the date rape drug in his system, and he was not heavily intoxicated either. But your body automatically produces like GHB, so. But a guy said that he once had only one drink at the bar and then started feeling really, really dizzy, went outside, and when he went outside, everything went blurry, and then the two bouncers tried to take him to the parking garage to a parked car. But luckily, he was able to call a friend before he was put into that car. So, I think that the bouncers know something, and that police officer that was never questioned probably has something to do with it. Maybe the girlfriend, because like I said earlier, I don't know if I'm just clingy, but if my boyfriend was to be kicked out of a bar, or I realized after a few minutes I can't find him, I would go looking for him. If I realized I still had his stuff on me, I would go and search for him. I wouldn't leave the bar with another guy. Like, that's just not, like, it just, like, we would leave the bar together. Like, if he got kicked out, I wouldn't just stay there. Like, yeah, our other friends are there, but I would go home with him, like. So, I don't know, I find it a little fishy the way that she was acting. But that's my theory on this case. I feel really bad for the family because they just worked so hard over these years to try and find answers, and they still haven't really found any solid answers. Apparently they had a suspect, but I guess there's not like enough evidence, or for some reason they did not want to charge him. So that's annoying. Alright guys, I'm gonna go finish this chips and guac off camera because my battery is about to die. Like, I literally got home from getting this, and then I turned on the camera and said battery exhausted, and I was like, dang it. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video of another Spooktober crime case. Comment down below what y'all think actually happened to Chris Jenkins. Hopefully one day we will find the answer, because it has been 18 years. Yeah, but I will see y'all at the next one. Bye.